VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Monday morning to you. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV. Every taking a sim, we appreciate it. It's Gil Alexander back in the saddle. Kelly Bidlin alongside Brewster number 9. So much more than a producer. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Good to have you back.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Ben Wilson and Scott Seidenberg for holding it down. That's what the kids say. Holding it down.
Great to do a few days with Ben again. It's been a while since me and him have done stuff together. He didn't want to come over to Vegas, I guess, but stayed in cushy San Diego. But he did a great job. And then Scott, always fun. So I guess it was the first shows me and Scott have done together. But Scott did a great job filling in.
The great Ben Wilson. He ain't got to come here. He's big time.
Oh, yeah. He had golf and the beach to get to after the show, Gil.
That's right. He's got stuff to do.
Tough.
This is Guessing Lines for week number, I've even lost count. Week number 16 is what we're going to be doing here in the National Football League. As we do that, if you're new to the show, we look back at week number 15. The whole point of the exercise is to try to extract some value in the upcoming week's lines. Here's the thing. It's been slim pickings the last few weeks doing this. I'm not sure it'll be anything more than slim pickings today, but we will see what we can get.
It's funny you say that. You were gone last week, obviously. I feel like I had more bets last week than I had the 4 previous weeks combined.
Did it work out okay?
Yeah, it did.
Oh, good.
But
what were you on?
I feel like I'm back to slim pickings this week.
What were you on last week?
Let's see. A.J. Brown over receiving yards. Let's see. Broncos got home. Bucks got home. Lions was a loser. Bills, Lions over a winner. And Packers money line a winner.
Nice. Well done. We'll get to all of it, and we always start, though, on Mondays with a little Circa Survivor update. The $14.266 million Circa Survivor down to 50. Pardon me.
I was like,
down
whoa.
You missed it. It was a big upset yesterday. No, we're down to 50 entries, 50 in a contest. By the way, there's 15 of those entries are on the Vikings tonight, so we're not through week 15 quite yet with this. But right as of this moment, there are 50 entries left. Intrinsic value of each of these 50, $285,320. 5 of those almost got refereed out by the in the Washington Commanders game.
It's so insane.
Imagine if those 5 people had lost on that, which we'll get to.
I don't even know what I'd do. People like set their couches on fire and stuff. Like, I don't know. I'd just be setting my whole house on fire.
Might have been one of the worst ways to lose ever. But they get by. So 15 on the Vikings tonight. Here's the thing. There are 4 more. Because if those 15 get through, we'll still have 50, obviously, 35 if not, if the Bears pull off the upset tonight. Either way, there are 4 quote-unquote weeks left in this contest, one of which is the Christmas quirk. 2 on Christmas Day, 1 on Thursday Night Football, so 6 teams available, none of which are comfortable picks. Though, with a couple injuries yesterday, namely to Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs and to Geno Smith of the Seahawks, it does add a little drama. It's Chiefs at Steelers, Ravens at Texans on a Christmas Day, and then it's Seahawks and the Bears Thursday Night Football that week. But we still got to get through week 16 before we get to that. But that's you know how they say Saturday is moving day at the Masters? That will be moving day, if you will, in Circa Survivor. So that's where that stands. You ready to get some lines?
Let's do it.
Let's do it for week 16 in the National Football League.
Only 3 more weeks left, Gil.
Hard to believe.
It is.
Hard to believe. Will Hill was here. He's like, can't believe it's week 5 already. He always does. Can't believe it's week 6 already. Well, we're here.
I'm that guy, too. I say that at least 8 times during the season.
By the way, I will just say this last thing about Survivor. As epically historical as those first 5 weeks were in terms of carnage, there's no way to, because we don't track, we can track that mathematically. No one ever tracks the screeching halt of Survivor, but this has been a historic screech.
Yeah.
You know, because within 5 weeks, we had lost 98.45% of entries.
Wait, what?
Within the first 5 weeks of this NFL season, 98.45% of the entries were gone.
That's insane.
We forget how amazing it was.
That is insane.
Okay, the opposite is case. After week 11, After week 10, 105 entries were left. There are 50 left, and keep in mind we had a Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and we got through Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so here we are. All right, let's get some lines. Let's go to 13.
Thursday night, Broncos at Chargers.
Broncos at Chargers. Broncos beat the Colts. We get to the point in the season where we don't have to linger on some of these games too long, but it was one of these where the Colts, there was a key point in this game, in case you missed it, and this is becoming an epidemic in the NFL. Colts started out with a nice 10-play, 70-yard drive. AR dimed to Josh Downs on 3rd and 10 for 22 to start the drive. 7 plays later, he ran it in from 23, 7-0. Broncos came right back, but Nix was picked. Bo Nix picked by Zaire Franklin. That led to a Matt Gay 37-yard field goal. 10-0 Colts. Couple drives later for the Broncos, they went 54 yards. Nix to Adam Troutman from 13 out. 10-7 Indianapolis. It would be 13-7 Indianapolis at the half. And here's where it gets a little nutty. Denver, third play of the third quarter, opening drive. Nix picked again by Samuel Womack III. Let me just say this, a little offensive rookie of the year break on this. It's over. It's all over. Bo Nix, 3 picks yesterday. Jaden Daniels just sort of doing his thing. It would take an epic set of circumstances now for Jaden Daniels not to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Agree or disagree?
Agree. Yeah, agree. But I'm that guy who's totally gotten to the point where I feel like Brock Bowers should probably win this award.
Oh, stop it already. Stop it.
He's having a epic receiving season.
He is, but what, you're not going to give it to Jaden Daniels?
No, you have to. You have to. All
right, so Nix's second pick. It's 13-7 Colts. Colts have the ball up 6. Second play, 1st and 10, the Denver 41. Jonathan Taylor untouched into the end zone. Touchdown. Except for a little detail. Right before he crosses the goal line, he does this little thing where he flips the ball. What are we doing? Review. It's a fumble through the end zone touchback. So instead of 20-7 or 21-7, had they chosen perhaps to have tried the 2-point conversion and converted it, either way, that would have been a 2-score game. Instead, it remains 13-7.
Gil, a defensive player, I'll give an excuse to. Okay, maybe, fine. You're not used to carrying the ball. Jonathan Taylor?
I just think that we've gotten to the point now where this has happened more than a negligible amount. Let's put it that way. And I don't think the outrage, as quote-unquote outrage as announcers are in the moment, they need to be that tenfold.
I agree.
Like, someone needs to go crazy about this, and the coaches need to bench people. It's so lazy. Denver, 3rd and 10 at the Indianapolis 39. Don't worry, though. Bo Nix throws another pick, this time to Nick Cross. Indianapolis, first play ensuing drive. They give it right back. AR to Pittman. He's tackled by P.J. Locke. Fumbles recovered by D.J. Jones. Denver doesn't do anything with it, but they do get the field goal to cut it to 13-10. Then after a Mims 60-yard punt return, how many great plays does Marvin Mims Jr. make on special teams? They're set up at the Indianapolis 15. Second play, Nix to Nate Atkins for 15. 17-13. Denver takes the lead early fourth quarter. And then 2nd and 7 at the Denver 40. Adonai Echad. Looking to throw it back across the field, picked in full stride by Nick Bonito. It's actually ruled a lateral and a fumble in the box score, as it should be, because it's a backwards pass. But you ever see somebody make that play where they're in full stride on defense? That was unbelievable.
No, yeah.
And as Scott Hansen accurately said on Red Zone, he goes, Nick Bonito then grabbed his Bonitos on the way in and got flagged for that. Yep. But nonetheless, it's a two-score lead for Denver, 24-13. They would go on to win it because AR would throw another pick to Surtain, severely underthrown. They go on to win it 31-13. Denver wins with only 193 total yards of offense. Why? Because the opponent, once they get to the end zone, flips the ball and decides not to score. God bless. Who's Indianapolis playing? Who's Denver playing again?
Chargers.
And the Chargers get just destroyed by the Buccaneers. Did you have this game going this way?
I had the Bucks. But, catching points, not on the money line.
10-10 game. Tampa Bay. Baker gets picked by Tarheeb Still from University of Maryland. Set up, the Chargers are the Tampa Bay 27, 3 plays Herbert to Quentin Johnston. It's 17-10 Chargers midway through the second quarter. Then Tampa Bay, 3rd and 1 at their own 44, Rashad White hit by Joey Bosa. He fumbles. Elijah Molden recovers for the Chargers. So the Chargers are set up 7 points. This is late second quarter. They decide, well, we're not going to roll out Cameron Dicker for a 60-yard field goal. That'd be crazy. We punt it. So that was the end. That was the high point of the Chargers in this game. Up 7 with the ball in Tampa Bay territory. They couldn't do anything with it. So starting from there, here are the rest of the Chargers drives in this game. 3 and out, punt, the rare Justin Herbert pick, turnover on downs, 4 and out, another turnover on downs, Heineke in, and a fumble by Stone Smart. That's the rest of the game for the Chargers. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay is just scoring points the whole time. Mike Evans with 2 huge plays, won a 57-yard touchdown pass to put the Bucs up 20-17, and then later Mayfield to Evans from 35 out to put them up 30-17. They'd win it 40-17. The Chargers outgained by the Bucs 505-207.
Yeah.
The Buccaneers are just flying to the win in the NFC South, as we said they would a few weeks ago, given their schedule.
Yep. I've got a Falcons ticket. It's been tough to watch.
Yeah, not having
it. And also, it's impossible not to root for Baker Mayfield in this. But this Bucs team is one of my favorite teams.
But Baker, 22 for 27 for 288, 4 touchdowns and a pick. Denver's at the Chargers. Because I know that the market tends to like the Chargers a bit, I'll say Chargers by more than the 3. I'll say Chargers by 3 and a hook.
We are 3 at DraftKings. Let me check around. I think it's pretty much 3 flat. Yeah, 3 everywhere.
I think that's a better line. I think that's what I would make it if I hadn't assumed that they would go crazy for the Chargers again. But maybe that love is dissipated. Yeah,
I agree with the 3, but I tend to think what you just said is true too. That they give the Chargers a little too much love.
Denver, looking like a playoff team. Had no business winning that yesterday. Managed to anyway. Good for them. Good for them. Getting more lines. See if we can find some value. Week 16. Guessing lines on a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Here are 3 reasons ZYN is America's #1 nicotine pouch. We use food-grade ingredients. We have a wide selection of varieties. And they all come in 2 strengths. Find ZYN at a store near you.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big, we go all night, and here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
Coming up Monday on Follow the Money, our last Monday Night Football doubleheader. We recap a wild weekend and we get ready for bowls and college football playoffs. Nick Bogdanovich also in studio, Hall of Famer at Circa. Follow the Money weekdays, 4 to 7 Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah. Came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Fills in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole 9, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's Late Night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
Numbers Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Hey, don't just watch the college football playoffs this year. Get in on the action with the VSiN Road to Jan-Sanity contest. Your football handicapping skills can win you $5,000, and the best part, it's absolutely free to enter. Your challenge, pick the games against the spread for every round. The contestant with the most points after the title game wins $5,000. Head over to VSiN.com/Jan-Sanity for the contest rules and to register. Don't wait. The entry deadline is this Thursday, though, December 19th. Visit VSiN.com/Jan-Sanity and let the Jan-Sanity begin. How about this weekend? Saturday, 3 college football. So there's the first of the college football playoff games is Friday night. Then 3 on Saturday, along with 2 NFL games. Oh,
yeah. I'm flying out of here red-eye Friday night. And
where are you going?
Going home, Christmas. Going home. Going to see my mom. It's been 2 years.
Hey, do we have that Kelly Bidlin, that shot of you
on
the
we
FSU
do.
sidelines?
Yeah, we do.
Can we show that right now?
There it is.
He's going home.
It's the Great Red Lightning.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is from Entendre at Andrew 082-0827-1111. Entendre. Is this your producer? Kelly Bidlin on a Florida State sideline. That dude kind of does look like you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say he doesn't. The hair a little more red than mine. Okay, a little bit more red.
A little more red.
This is old though. This is old as hell. This guy is. My research shows from before the show, he is now the equipment manager for the softball team and soccer teams there at Florida State. He was there during the Jameis years though. They were sort of calling him Red Lightning because there was a couple famous highlights through those years of him, like when you see every once in a while, like the ball guy running stride for stride with like the running back who's going into the end zone. Yeah. He was that guy like chugging along, going crazy. Yeah, Red Lightning, man. Legend.
By the way, he in quotes is what Kelly's saying. He was the guy running. Very much favorite.
Nah, you don't even know, man. There was one kid freshman year at Florida State. No idea how this happens. Freshman year at Florida State University. There is, I don't even know how many thousands of kids, right, that are signing up. I lived in a dorm. A kid 2 floors above me, dead ringer for me. Dead ringer. And, like, people would mix us up all the time. People would come up and be like, hey, Andrew, how you doing, man? I'm like, yo, I'm not Andrew. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
That guy's scowl, the way he's looking, it's just like you. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Simon Whelan, can't wait for my running back and my coach to feature on Dumbo of the Week on the Megapod. Well, yeah, Jonathan Taylor is absolutely is Dumbo of the Week candidate number 1 for what we were talking about before, that's for sure. Charles in Connecticut talking about the Taylor flip. He says that's at least 3 times this year that's happened in the NFL. I don't understand it. I wish someone could tell me why it's important to the players to drop the ball as soon as they break the plane. What's wrong with waiting until you're 3 yards into the end zone? Bruh. May I call you bruh, Charles in Connecticut? Totally agree.
I mean, it's as simple as they're so excited, right? Like, they're just too excited.
Stop with the so excited. Stop.
I'm not saying that it's an excuse. Obviously, you should score first before you probably celebrate it all.
I had my first 1,000-year-old moment since I've gotten back. You know what John Riggins used to do? He used to run into the end zone. He never used to spike. He used to just flip it back to the ref.
I always thought that was the coolest thing. Just to hand it to the ref.
I've been here before.
The act like you've been there before, right?
Jeff Holdorf at Holding Court. He says, welcome back, Gil. Ready to learn our next Yiddish word. Think we have all Googled Meshuggah after the 4,000th time of hearing that promo. Love having you back. Thank you, Jeff. C. Spackler, welcome back to my morning show. Let's try to make it into work more often. It messes with my mornings. I wander Gil-less through the betting week. I'm sorry about that, C. Spackler. Brian Schaefer, Gil, is the music for guessing lines the same as the music for Crackman? Sincerely, Steve Fezzik. I don't think it is. No.
No, it's not.
Crackman has the best intro music.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's much more rocky-ish.
The college football guessing lines music, which, by the way, where did that go this year, is the same as the regular guessing lines music. What happened to college football guessing?
Well, we screwed up the one great week to do it, the conference championship week. When pre-show I was discussing with Elliot Bowman.
We screwed it up, by the way.
Yes. Sorry, Gil. I screwed it up, okay? I mean, look, it does get later in the season, as you often talk about, even when we do the NFL ones, where you're like, okay, we've seen what this spread was two weeks before.
True that.
Not that I'm great at it, but it makes it a little easier for me sometimes. And then it becomes a little boring. It's only fun if I'm wildly off, right?
True.
But... Yeah. Conference championships was a letdown because I didn't even know who was playing in some of them.
Bowl season already started. Did you know that?
I did.
Okay. Let's go to Sunday. Are we on Sunday or no? Saturday. Saturday, right?
Okay, so Saturday, this is 1 o'clock Eastern, Texans at Chiefs.
Well, that's a good game, potentially, I suppose, Patrick Mahomes plays. So we have to have 2 different lines here, I would imagine. I don't know what the market is factoring in at this point, but on a guess I would. 3-3, by the way. Houston beats Miami yesterday. 3-3 game. Miami 3rd and 4 at their own 47. Tua sacked by Will Anderson Jr. Tim Settle recovers, set up at the Miami 28. Houston leads to Stroud across the body. Touchdown pass to Nico Collins. 10-3 Houston. It'd be 10-6. And then Houston 1st and 10 at their own 49. Stroud fumbles. Jordan Brooks recovers. Miami then at the Houston 38. They return the favor. 2nd and 6 at the Houston 39. Tua picked by Kalen Bullock. Didn't see him. He returns at 68 yards to the Miami 5 with 13 seconds left in the first half. They do have to settle for the field goal, though. No gain, followed by an incomplete pass. So Fairbairn, 23-yard chip shot. 13-6 Houston at the half. Houston then in punt formation, 4th and 2 at the Miami 44. First drive of the second half. They fake it. Dare Ogunbowale for 35 yards. 2 plays later, Stroud to Collins from 6 out, 20-6. And Miami was in catch-up mode the rest of the way. Sanders' 30-yard field goal was good, but they wiped that off the board. And Miami converted into a touchdown to Jonnu Smith. Great pass by Tua, 20-12. They missed the extra point, so a good decision to wipe that field goal off the board. And then Miami had so many opportunities to get back in this. They had a 4th and 4 at the Houston 34 with 12:44 to go. Tua to Jonnu for 9, but then 3 plays later, Tua picked again by Derek Stingley Jr. with 10:34 to go. Then they had a 3 and out, and then they took over at their own 23 with 1:44 to go. Still down 1 possession, 8 points. First play, Tua picked by Stingley again. Ball game, 20-12.
Stingley's so good, so good.
Tua just for a guy who doesn't who is accurate with his passes, not his best performance yesterday.
Not at all. And one of the things I feel like I've noticed with the Dolphins the past few weeks is like there is just these receivers that we talk about being so lightning, and Waddle and Tyreek Hill seem to be like not getting any separation whatsoever. Yeah. I don't really know what that story is.
Kansas City beats Cleveland. This was not a great day in terms of just a fan perspective of the NFL. A lot of these games were kind of Dullsville. Chiefs. They beat the Browns 21-7. I don't know what the verb I would use is. Just sort of outlast them. I mean, they could have played all day, and they probably would have won by a touchdown or two. It wasn't for Cleveland not having opportunities. Cleveland with 6 turnovers in this game. Turnover differential of -6. That'll do it. And you only lost by 14. First drive of the game, Kansas City. They had a 3 and out, but on the Ariza punt, James Prochet fumbled it. Samaje Perine recovered it. 3 plays later, Mahomes to Juju from 7 out, 7-0. Cleveland, couple drives later, they had a 1st and 10 at the Kansas City 36. Here was their first turnover. Jameis picked in the end zone by Brian Cook. By the way, if you watch that play, Elijah Moore of the Browns just is kind of laying down, watching the pick happen. Like the pick happened in the end zone. He's just kind of like, yeah, well, that happened. The same dude, remember in the Denver primetime game, the Denver Cleveland primetime game where he let the interception just happen. The pick 6 happen.
I don't know if I really caught that yesterday.
So Elijah,
wow.
he was lollygagging out of bounds in that one. This one, he was just chilling in the end zone on his back. He's like, I guess he's not returning it. Kansas City, 14-play, 87-yard drive. Mahomes to Gray from 6 out. That would make it 14-0. Cleveland, after Jerome Ford 45-yard kickoff return, set up at the Kansas City 49, 4 and out. Winston incomplete on 4th and 1. And then Butker would miss a 29-yard field goal before the half. I note that because Butker does not look good with that leg. Like that plant leg buckles.
First week back, right?
First week back. He made the extra points, but this is a chip shot. And if you look at his left leg, it's like painful to watch. So 14-0 at the half. And then it was just the turnover fest. Cleveland first play, Jameis to Chubb. Did you see this pick? Deflects off Nick Bolton into Chubb's chest. Chubb can't corral it, and then somehow Bolton strips it on the way down for the pick.
Grabbed away.
That might have been the play of the day
Bolton's
in the NFL.
Amazing. He's awesome.
Yeah, that was amazing. That led to, set up at the Cleveland 34. 4 plays in, Mahomes to Worthy from 21 out. 21-0. Chubb with a fumble later. I'll go through the rest of Cleveland's possessions. Fumble, punt, 2-play drive, which was a great play. Jerome Ford, 62 yards, just with the afterburners, just turning the corner on everybody. That made it 21-7. But then Cleveland punt, Jameis pick, DTR in. That didn't go anywhere. And then DTR ultimately picked. So it was just, again, +6 in turnovers for the Chiefs. They win it 21-7. That's their widest margin of victory of the year.
Yep.
And they are 12-1. 12-1 or 13-1? Pardon me. 13-1.
Right?
13-1, and that's their biggest win in terms of margin of the year. Now, here's the thing. Patrick Mahomes, the big story of this game, though, of course, is that late in this game when it was, 21-7. This is in the fourth quarter. Kansas City 4th and 3 at the Cleveland 39. They decide to go for it. Mahomes incomplete, intended for Juju. Mahomes gets up slowly, limps to the sideline. His right ankle, the word is not broken, but just really sore. He was unclear whether he'd be available to play this coming Saturday against the Texans. Quote, "It's hard to say right now," unquote, from Patrick Mahomes. So if he plays, I'm going to say they're a 4-point favorite. If he doesn't, and it's Carson Wentz, I'd say they're a 3-point dog.
Okay, so right now it is DraftKings lining this at Texans 2.5.
So they are factoring him not playing then.
Yeah, which I would think he doesn't go.
They have not clinched the number 1 seed.
I know, but like Saturday, it's a short week.
Well, you know what comes after that? An even shorter week.
Yep.
An even shorter week to play Wednesday against the Steelers. Coming back.
And they're off.
Sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup, then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Numbers Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Ready to elevate your tailgate game? You got to try Sewell's Barbecue. Born from a backyard cookout in a mason jar of unforgettable flavor, Sewell's has become a southern favorite, lighting up taste buds from Georgia to the Carolinas. From ribs and wings to a backyard burger, Sewell's takes every bite to the next level. You can order online at SewellsBarbecueSauce.com. That's SEWELLS BBQ. BBQSauce.com. Let me spell that again. SEWELLS BBQSauce.com. How about that? We get tweets at Beating the Book. Always appreciated. Hoops by Hoots. We know Red Lightning and Kelly aren't the same person. Red Lightning didn't tear his hammy catching the field goal. Very true, Hoops by Hoots. Can't be the same person.
That is a great point. I do not have near the athleticism of Red Lightning.
Jason H11, welcome back, Gilly. Kelly did a great job in your absence, as did Todd Wishnev with the Megapod, but it's nice to have an adult back in the room. Just kidding, Kelly. Not kidding, Yinzer. That's Todd. Norman Vegas. Do you realize that the 4 NFL teams playing this Saturday then flip opponents for the 2 Christmas Day games? Yeah, that's what I was just referring to with the Chiefs. Anyone asks Santa for a Netflix subscription so they're not stuck watching yawn regular season NBA on December 25th? Norman Vegas taking a shot at your league.
I mean, this is another issue for me, Gil. I'm going to go home for Christmas. As soon as I land, I've got college football playoff and NFL to watch. And then on Christmas Day, we got 2 NFL games and NBA all day. Mom's not going to be happy. She ain't going to be happy.
By the way, do you have NBA Cup fever? Do you like this event?
I love it.
Do you love it?
I love it.
Do you love it?
I think any extra reason to get excited about basketball this time of year. And look, the people that are not going to get excited about it regardless, it doesn't matter. But if there's people that are slightly interested, they get a little more interested, how does it hurt?
I got on a flight from D.C. to come back here, and there was you're seating, as you're getting seated, there was an Atlanta Hawks fan coming down the aisle, and she was wearing a whole Hawks gear because they were obviously in the semifinals. And someone from another seat goes, "Are you going to the game?" And she goes, "Yes, I am."
So
yes, I am. Like she was about to win the NBA championship. I'm like, what?
So we saw each other Saturday night. I was at that game earlier on Saturday, and when I first of all, a lot of the problems that we discussed from last year, no change. I was cold. It was dark. Remember how dark it was in the stands when we were sitting in there? And it looks that way on TV, too. If you watch it at home, you're just sitting in dark stands. But when I walked in, Gil, I'm like, why is it like 80-20 Atlanta-Milwaukee fans? And it took me way too long to realize, because the Falcons play on Monday night, so many people flew in here for the weekend already and just got an added bonus.
Oh, not this woman. She was there for the Hawks. What's next?
All right, next up, we got Saturday, 4:30 Eastern, Steelers at Ravens.
Steelers at Ravens, a game that has implications for the AFC North. The Steelers have clinched a playoff berth. The Ravens have not. The Ravens very likely to make the playoffs, but still harbor hopes to win the division. If they are to do so, they must win this football game against the Steelers because they got to split that season series. Pittsburgh loses to Philly yesterday. Wouldn't it be great if Pittsburgh just lost all the rest of the games? They end up 10-7, and Tomlin still gets to thumb his nose at everybody. Well, gauntlet schmauntlet, I still got the 10.
Still got the 10.
They just got beat up by the Eagles yesterday. 3-0 Philly. Philly had a 3rd and 4 at their own 43. Hurts, the ball poked out by T.J. Watt, recovered by Beanie Bishop. That set up. Pittsburgh was set up at the Philly 45, but they went 3 and out. Then they had a punt, but then Cooper DeJean fumbled the return, recovered by Nick Herbig. They had to settle for a Boswell 37-yard field goal. It's like 3-3, and the already 2 turnovers for the Eagles at that point. But still just a 3-3 game. Philly then goes 6 plays, 70 yards. Hurts to Brown for 16 and 20 to start the drive from 5 into the end zone to end it. 10-3 Philly. Next time they got the ball after a DeJean 23-yard punt return, set up at the Pittsburgh 45, 9 plays. Hurts to Devontae Smith from 2 outs, 17-3 Philly. Pittsburgh would answer a 70-yard drive. Wilson to Freiermuth from 9 out to make it 17-10. It was 17-13 at the half. 17-13 at the half. Then it was 20-13 midway through the third quarter. And here's the key of the game here. Pittsburgh, Wilson to Calvin Austin for 31 to start the drive, but 3 plays later, 1st and 10 at the Philly 26. Remember, they're only down a touchdown. Najee Harris just loses focus on a pitch. Just loses focus on the ball. Unforced error, fumble, which is charged to Russell Wilson, by the way, which is just awful. Recovered by Darius Slay, and that was kind of it because Philly then goes 13 plays, 74 yards, Hurts in from 1, 27-13 Philly, first minute of the fourth quarter. And then Kelly, 4th and 8 for Pittsburgh at the Philly 47 with 10:10 to go. You're down 27-13, and Mike Tomlin opts to punt the football.
Yeah.
Philly starts at their own 3 and just milk away the clock. Pittsburgh would never see the ball again. Ball game. Philly 27, Pittsburgh 13. And this is not armchair quarterbacking because in the moment we were shooting texts back to each other. He's like, he's punting?
At the same time, what an incredible drive to end the game. Over 10 minutes
But
to just kneel it out at the end.
But
boom,
isn't that the most
game's over.
on-brand Philly thing ever?
Oh, yeah.
Philly outgains Pittsburgh 401 to 163.
I mean, it was 2 drives, right? 2 drives in the second half, Pittsburgh had. That's it.
Pittsburgh, now here's the problem. Pittsburgh, TJ Watt in this game. TJ Watt ends up rolling his ankle. X-ray came back negative, by the way. So we don't know what his status is yet for this game. But Pittsburgh, famously, a 1-10 record straight up in games played without TJ Watt in his career. By the way, in 2022, they went 1-6 without him.
Wow.
Their losses in the 1-10 record are by an average of 10.8 points a game. They won the one they won by 2 points. They have allowed almost 27 points per game in the 11 games he hasn't played. So there you go. That's the TJ Watt story. Got to follow that. Baltimore beats the Giants. No surprise there. They did so, though, with 5 touchdown passes. Count them, 5. I don't even want to go through the details of this game. There's no point. 5 touchdown passes for Lamar Jackson. I just want to talk about the MVP for a second. Lamar Jackson with those, by the way, they outgained the Giants 445 to 236. Lamar was 21 of 25 for 290, 5 touchdowns, no picks, 6 carries for 65 yards. He did lose a fumble. His passer rating, which is out of a total of 158.3, was 154.6. On the season, Lamar Jackson, 34 touchdowns and 3 picks. That is the 5th best ratio of all time.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Currently. By the way, plus 750 at FanDuel to win the MVP. That's the high mark. 7-1 in other places. Lamar Jackson, this year's passer rating. Remember, this is the old school passer rating out of 158.3. His passer rating this year is 120.7. If that holds, it is the 4th best passer rating of all time. Plus 750 at FanDuel to win the MVP. He is also possibly, although he's a little off pace for this, possibly could get 1,000 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Plus 750 at FanDuel for MVP, 7-1 consensus.
You'll just keep trying to convince those voters because we're going to need all the help we can get, I think.
Well, here's the thing. Let's go back to college football this past weekend. Our Ashton Genty pick doesn't get there. Ashton Genty loses to Travis Hunter in the Heisman Trophy vote by the closest margin since the year 2009, which was the closest margin of all time when it came to Heisman voting. So file that again under great bet. Yeah. Once again, that doesn't get home. By the way, 2009, Mark Ingram edging Toby Gerhardt of Stanford.
Oh, my God, I got the Mark Ingram guess right.
You did. By the way, you know what the second closest was?
That was like the biggest upset of the weekend. Me and Matt and Gill out at dinner that we were having this conversation.
Yeah. You said Mark Ingram. I was like, you're right. The second closest one, by the way, if you had to go back further in time, Bo Jackson in 1985 beat Chuck Long by 45 points. Anyway, Genty, our plus 750, and then you could have got him at 18-1, ends up being the second closest, or excuse me, the closest since the closest one of all time in 2009 when Ingram beats Gerhardt. So again, good bet that I really thought that morning had a shot, and apparently it did. It just doesn't quite get home. So file that away in the numbers game history of the Juan Soto 100-1, which finished second. Was it Max? My man from TCU, Max Duggan, finished 100-1. We had him at. So another great bet that doesn't go by the wayside. But back to Lamar, which is the point of bringing that up. This feels very second placey.
I mean, here's the thing, though, Gil. Like it's to back up what you just said. I don't regret the bet at all. But we said at the time, a couple things needed to happen.
The number we bet it because of the number.
We bet it because of the number. We didn't believe Saquon really had a chance, and Josh Allen had to stumble along the way. And his past 2 weeks have been absolutely ridiculous.
Hasn't stumbled. But I'm just saying, can I repeat that again? 34-3 touchdowns, interceptions, 5th best ratio of all time, 120.7 passer rating, 4th best all time. By the way, QBR, Josh Allen is edging Lamar Jackson. Josh Allen, minus 900 at DraftKings to win it, plus 550 is Lamar Jackson at DraftKings. Again, you can get Lamar at a better number elsewhere.
Okay, here's one we haven't brought up in a while. Can I interest you in Lamar Jackson 25-1 Offensive Player of the Year at all?
But then what do you do with Saquon?
I know.
That's supposed to be Saquon's because he's not the quarterback. And you've given MVP to Lamar twice, so in their stupid brains, they're going to say, well, he's already got his 2. We don't have to give him anything.
You're probably right.
Baltimore minus 6.
This is 6.5 out there, mainly 6.5.
And a lot of that has to do with TJ Watt. He's one of the rare non-quarterbacks that matters to the number.
This one's tough for me because 5.5, it's a bet on Baltimore for me. I think we're only going one direction here.
All right, we got a lot more games to get to. We will get to them on the other side. Numbers Game, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Got a good thing coming. Just wait and see. It's a good.
You spoke, we listened. Introducing the all-new VSiN Watch app. Now, you can watch and listen to VSiN expert analysis live wherever you are. Missed a show? No problem. Catch replays of VSiN's full lineup at any time. View highlights sorted by sport. Or use the search feature to find specific teams and topics you're looking for. And the best part? It's free for a limited time. Download the VSiN Watch app today. Available now on the App Store and Google Play. And join us on the Sports Betting Network.
numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
College football playoff begins on Friday. We got the guide for you. VSiN's college football playoff betting guide, must-have guide, includes detailed previews for every first-round matchup, comprehensive college football playoff overview with exclusive bookmaker insights, team capsules, playoff brackets and best bets, power ratings for Steve Makinen, and the ultimate bonus picks for every bowl game from Steve Makinen and Brent Musburger, the legendary Brent Musburger. Sign him now with our holiday special. Get your copy of the guide plus full VSiN Pro access to everything we do from now through May 1st for just $79. That's May 1st, 2025, in case you're wondering. Don't fumble your chance to score big. Grab this deal at VSiN.com/subscribe. To sign up now, that's VSIN.com/subscribe. It's Gil Alexander. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Always appreciate the feedback. This is from Brian M. A numbers game pros, guessing lines, increasing Kangol sales, cons, spelling particular promos. We didn't spell Sewell's, I guess, correctly. I messed it up the first time, yeah. Joe C714.
I was like, if that's the case on the graphic, we've been making mistakes for a lot of shows then.
Joe C714, welcome back, Gil. What's your thoughts on NBA viewership being down 48% since 2012? Grew up a huge NBA fan, and I can't stand watching anymore. I don't think threes, dunks, and blown 20-point leads aren't appealing even to younger viewers. What say you? Yeah, I also think when half your league is hurt for half the season.
That's a bigger problem.
And the load management, you don't know when folks are playing. I think these are major problems for the league.
Joe, I love you. Here's my problem with this argument. It's, okay, flip on a 1988 basketball game.
Oh, it's tough to watch.
I don't want to watch a point guard walk the ball up the court and take 12 seconds off the clock and wait for some long play to start finally gravitating. Sorry, I like athletes.
There's suddenly a picture of Magic in the Showtime Lakers comes up as a counter to that. But I hear what you're saying. Chrissy Andrews, my mishpucha from South Point, has the greatest story when the Seattle Supersonics lost the NBA championship to the Bullets, the Washington Bullets in 78, and won it against the Bullets in 79. Gus Williams and Dennis Johnson played for the Supersonics before he played for the Celtics. They used to have a conversation walking the ball up the court.
Right.
They literally would have a conversation. That's how slow the game was at that time.
I'll tell you, it probably doesn't go this far, Gil, but the one thing I can say as an NBA fan, the timeouts are way too many.
It's too much.
The game finally gets in a groove and going well, and then it's timeout.
I also would say this. What the Warriors, about a bit Warriors comment here, what they made so beautiful, right? The beautiful basketball of what they did. Steph Curry is ultimately a unicorn, a guy who has the handle to support the shot, who can make his own. The passing game that they had with Draymond when Clay was there, the dynastic Warriors, you can't really duplicate the beauty of that. And other teams, analytically speaking, try to, but it's not the same beauty on the basketball court. So I hear what he's saying. This is Sly Bry. If it was legal for the TV talking heads to say anything other than Tomlin never had a losing record, they would tell you that Tomlin quit on the game by punting on 4th and 7, as you say, in Eagles territory, because the Steelers clearly had trouble stopping the Eagles. Colin Murphy. Take a look at Jonathan Green in Defensive Player of the Year. Fanatics has 500-1. How much are they going to let you put on that, Colin? Yet to play tonight against a bad Bears O-line, and his stats are right up there with Hunter, Watt, and Bonito. This might be the most mispriced award line I have ever seen, he says. Buddhist man, grabbing the Bonitos, a.k.a. the Marshawn, needs to not only be grandfathered in as a perfectly legal celebration, it should be also encouraged as it guarantees the player carrying the ball over the goal line. It's a very good point, that last point right there. Las Vegas 514, yo. Not only did Riggo just flip the ball to the refs, he also told Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, loosen up, Sandy, baby. Washington legend. Welcome back. Do you know that story?
No, I don't know that one. I'm thinking about the front flip into the end zone, too. That's another way to, make sure you hold on to the ball.
When the Skins won the Super Bowl in January of 83, their first ever Super Bowl title, he showed up at some dignitary's dinner with, a top hat and a tuxedo, John Riggins did, and he got drunk. And he ended up under the table, literally. And Supreme Court Sandra Day O'Connor, he said, loosen up, Sandy, baby. You're too tight. That's great. All right.
That's great.
What's next?
I'm going to update one game we talked about because there is movement this morning. That Texans-Chiefs line, we are up to 3 in multiple spots, including right behind us here at Circa.
So they came up to my non-Mahomes line.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, we are at Sunday early window. Giants at Falcons.
All right, Giants lose to the Ravens. By the way, their only bright spot, Malik Neighbors, 10 catches for 82 and a touchdown. They're outgained by Baltimore 445 to 236 as the Giants lose their 9th in a row. May I say this about the Giants? They're going to have the first pick in the draft, and it's probably not going to be Shedeur because Shedeur doesn't want to play for them. He wants to play for either the Raiders or the Cowboys. So this is starting to feel like Cam Ward may be your number 1 pick in the draft.
Oh, we were talking about that. Who was I talking about? Me and Ben, I think, last week, where I'm like, that one's kind of interesting to me when you keep hearing these stories.
Yep. This feels like an Eli Manning situation. Shedeur, by the way, is the favorite, minus 125. Travis Hunter's plus 250. Cameron Ward from the U, plus 380.
Shop around. I saw 6 to 1 on that.
Feels like a good bet to me right now. They're at Atlanta. Atlanta plays tonight against the Raiders. Do you have a play on any of either of the games tonight?
I have the Vikings to close out a teaser from last week with the Rams on Thursday night.
I'll say Atlanta minus 7.5, sight unseen here.
This one is Falcons 10.
10. Okay, that's fine. My 7.5 is probably too light.
Man, we're at the part of the year. We said this like a couple weeks ago. We're at the part of the year where it's just you end up being a little light on everything.
10 seems okay to me, too.
Right.
I'm 2.5 points off, and I'm like, sure.
It's a little light, but you're not wanting to bet the Giants at all. Yep.
Next.
Patriots at Bills.
All right, Patriots lose the Cardinals. There really is no point in getting into that game. Patriots just sort of beaten pretty good in that game. There was one play early that I will point out. This was an unintentional one where it was 3-0 Arizona, and they had a 6-play, 80-yard drive. Connor, 53 yards to run it. Then it ended with Greg Dortch running the ball in from the 8. The ball was poked out by Anthony Jennings on the way into the end zone. The ball went into the end zone. Jonah Williams recovered it just before it went out the back of the end zone.
Yeah, that was pretty.
But that wasn't a unforced one.
Right.
So anyway, Cardinals win that game handily, 30-17. Although I will say this, that was a horrible beat for unders players because it was a flurry of touchdowns at the end in that game.
Yeah.
It was 21-14. Excuse me, what was it? No, I'm wrong game. It was, what was it, 23-3 with 10 minutes and 39 seconds left in the game, and it ended 30-17. So unders went to die. Buffalo, in what was supposed to be the marquee game of the day yesterday, Buffalo just destroyed Detroit. And I know the final score doesn't show that, but it kind of did. Buffalo, first time they got the ball after a 3-and-out for Detroit, 7 plays, 73 yards. Allen to Ty Johnson for 33, the big chunk, to Johnson for 24 later. On 3rd and 5, 2 plays later, Allen in from 1, 7-0 Buffalo. Then another Detroit punt after Goff got sacked twice. Buffalo, 9 plays, 78 yards. Allen to Cook for 28 to start. Allen in from 4 to end it, 14-0 Buffalo with 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Detroit would get it to 14-7, but Buffalo immediately answers back. 9 plays, 70 yards, including a 4th and 2nd conversion at their own 49. Allen to Ty Johnson for 31. 3 plays later, Cook in from 6, 21-7. Detroit would then have a 10-play, 70-yard drive, which included a 4th and 4 conversion of their own to St. Brown for 21, and a Goff 10-yard scamper on 3rd and 10. Eventually, Goff to Dan Skipper from 9 out, 21-14. But Buffalo, first play ensuing drive, Allen to Keon for 64. They tacked on a roughing the passer, so half the distance. So now Buffalo was up 7. This was the moment where you thought Detroit might get back in it. Buffalo was set up at the Detroit 3, Cook for 1, to Curtis Samuel for 1, then a false start, Allen incomplete, and after a lengthy injury timeout, Bass missed a 24-yarder, and it remained 21-14 at the half. But then Buffalo started the second half the way that they left off. 4 plays, 70 yards, Cook in from 41, 28-14. He got to 35-14, and then it was just kind of cosmetic from that point forward. But I do want to point out the big thing because after the Detroit Packers game, after the Packers Thursday night game, I went on this whole rant Friday morning about how I don't think Dan Campbell knows what he's doing with these decisions. And as a guy who loves going for it on 4th down, I just think there's not a tactical thing. And I know he has a staff telling him what to do, but the buck stops with him. It's his decision. And I just think he goes for it because he's like trying to live up to his reputation. He doesn't know when to and when not to. Well, yesterday, at 38-28, with 12 minutes left, he declares, "I do declare an onside kick." And Mac Hollins caught it in stride, took it 37 yards to the Detroit 5. They end up scoring again, 45-28. What are you doing calling the onside kick with 12 minutes left? You have all 3 timeouts. You're only down 2 scores, 10 points. And for those who would come back and say, yeah, but, they couldn't stop Buffalo, so I get it. Well, the smoking gun for you then is when they got it to 45-35, they should have done it again. Right. And they didn't. So that proves once again to me that Dan Campbell is just kind of off the cuff with all this stuff.
The other part of it, too, if we do think there's someone, running by analytics and these numbers in his headset, right? Okay, I understand you can't stop them on defense, but we all know how low the percentage is of you recovering an onside kick.
Buffalo minus 14.5 against New England?
14 right now.
Okay. Coming back, more to say on that game. On the other side, numbers game, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
And we're out.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I need to load funds into my gaming apps.